Chosen ones, listen with full attention, because what I am about to reveal is not lifestyle advice, not decoration commentary, not a shallow idea you could pick up in an article or a trend. This channel is not entertainment. It is not here to fill silence. It was created as a living tool, a compass forged for those who walk with marks on their hands, that the world calls coincidence, but heaven calls confirmation. The letter M on your palm with the perfect crescent moon curved beside it. These are not ornaments of skin. They are coordinates written in your body. And if you carry them, then you already know. Your life has been stalked by mystery since birth. The ordinary home, to the ordinary soul, is just a shelter. But for you, it is a spiritual battlefield, a mirror, and a map that cannot be ignored. Every wall in your house has already absorbed prayers, arguments, tears, and silence. Every floorboard carries the vibration of footsteps, guided or attacked. And here is the urgent truth you must face today. Your home is already fighting wars you cannot see. The longer you dismiss the flickering lights, the sudden heaviness in the room, the object that refuses to break, the sound that appears without source, the stronger darkness becomes. Every moment you ignore the signals, shadows gain ground. Do you believe your home is neutral? It is not. It is either aligned with your essence, echoing your mission, or it is resisting, trembling under forces that do not belong to you. Let me disrupt your assumptions right now. The first undeniable proof that you are chosen is not what people call talent, not what others label intelligence, not even what your achievements show. The first proof is found in your home environment. That space is not an accident. It was set, shaped, and charged as your first battleground. Visitors may not know why they pause when stepping inside. They may smile nervously and say, "This feels different." They cannot explain why the air thickens with presence or why they feel exposed sitting at your table. But you know. You feel it in your chest, in the rising of your skin, in the whisper behind the silence. Your home is alive. It is an altar in disguise. But here is where urgency strikes. If you do not guard it, if you treat your home like any other shelter, it will betray you. Because spaces are not passive, they amplify what enters. The chosen cannot afford carelessness. Not every visitor should cross your threshold. Not every object should remain untouched. Not every sound should be dismissed. For a chosen one, the home is both protection and vulnerability. And if you ignore its voice, shadows take liberties. Look around your environment right now. Is there a chair that people always choose without reason? Is there a corner where you feel inexplicable peace? Is there an item that refuses to leave your life? A lamp, a book, a photograph, even a cracked cup that has survived every change, every move, every purge. These are no accidents. They are anchors. Heaven permits certain objects to remain because they carry codes. Some codes are protective. Some are warnings. Others are maps of destiny. Chosen ones, pay attention to the numbers written in your environment. Not the numbers you saw in the last script. I am not repeating those. Different numbers arrive for each battle. You may see 939 on a receipt, a code of hidden completion, preparing you for transition. Or 1202 flashing on a digital clock, a reminder that order is emerging even in chaos. Or 515 repeated on bills and addresses, an urgent push to break cycles before they destroy your foundation. These are not coincidences. They are timestamps. They are dispatches from heaven written across ordinary surfaces, so you cannot deny them. And here is the test. The chosen one cannot disguise their essence. Objects will testify. The silence will preach. Let me say this with disruption. Your home is announcing you before your voice does. Neighbors sense it. Animals notice it. Strangers feel it. Creation itself leans toward the roof you sleep under. And this is why you cannot treat your home lightly. Have you ever noticed that in moments of heaviness, your environment shifts? The air thickens. The temperature drops. The wood creaks. These are not meaningless coincidences. They are reactions to the war happening in the unseen. You may think you are alone, but your house knows better. It absorbs the battle and it reflects it back to you. If you neglect this, shadows advance. But if you align with this, your house becomes a fortress. So here is the question you must not ignore. What is your home saying to you right now? Look again at your environment. Do you sense a message in the unfinished project that stares back at you every day? In the window that insists on opening when no touches it? In the calendar that remains frozen on a certain date? Heaven is speaking. The urgency is this: if you do not respond, you will lose ground. This channel was created to awaken that response. Not to entertain, not to distract, but to train you in decoding what others ignore. You are not here by accident. You are here because your home has already been speaking, and you are ready to finally hear. Before I go further, I need to pause and speak to you as a person, not as a voice floating through a screen, but as someone who knows what it feels like to carry a secret mark that others cannot understand. If these words are resonating with you, if you felt even a small confirmation in your chest as I describe the hidden language of your home, I want to ask something simple and sincere. Subscribe to this channel today. Not out of habit, not because everyone repeats it like a formula, but because this space is not built for the masses, it is built for you. This is a gather point, a fire circle for chosen ones across the earth. And if you step inside, you are not just clicking a button. You are anchoring yourself into a community that understands the signs on your palms, the crescent carved, the numbers that follow you at midnight when no one else is awake. I also want something personal from you. I want to know what burns in your spirit. What do you want uncovered next? Is it the animals that refuse to leave your path, the dreams that chase you night after night, the strange numbers that appear on bills, on clocks, on phone screens? Or maybe you've noticed visitors leaving your house unsettled and you want clarity. Tell me in the comments. Suggest the next direction. Because this channel is not a monologue, it is a dialogue, and your voice shapes the journey. Now, let us go deeper. In Block 1, we open the door to the truth. Your home is already fighting battles you cannot see. In this block, we must learn how to read the battlefield before it cons us. When a chosen one sleeps, wars continue. You may think the silence of midnight is empty, but for those who carry the letter M and the crescent, midnight is the most crowded hour. Forces of light and shadows clash over your home while your body rests, and your house absorbs the impact. That is why you wake to unexplained exhaustion, why you hear knocks when no one stands outside, why your dreams bleed into reality because your house is carrying blows you cannot measure. Do not dismiss the ordinary disturbances. A flickering light bulb may be more than electrical fault. A pipe that bursts without warning may be more than poor infrastructure. For the chosen, these are manifestations of invisible confrontation. Your home becomes the surface where unseen collisions leave physical marks. Here is the disruptive truth. You cannot hide who you are, and neither can your house. Even if you minimize your own identity, your environment will still testify. Chosen ones often feel sham, the state of their homes, Some apologize for the disorder. Others feel pressure to keep every corner pristine. But listen carefully. Both the order and the chaos carry messages. A home that looks perfectly aligned, minimalist, with everything in place, may reflect the clarity of heaven already burning through you. A home that feels chaotic, full of unfinished projects, scattered books, and layered notes, may reflect the war pressing against your destiny. Neither is laziness. Neither is obsession. Both are translations of spiritual war into environment. Have you ever noticed that when your spiritual battles intensify, your house reacts? Objects fall without reason. Appliances fail simultaneously. Leaks appear where no leak existed. That is not coincidence. That is war breaking through the walls. And if you look closely, numbers begin to appear in the middle of that disorder. Not the same as the reference you heard before. These are different, new. For example, 848, a code of rapia, cycles breaking into fresh alignment. 1221, a mirror code, announcing that what was hidden in your past is about to reflect into your future. 606, a reminder that even when you feel surrounded, balance is anchoring you in unseen ways. The numbers are not random. They are heaven's way of scribbling across the battlefield, so you cannot forget you are not fighting alone. Every chosen home contains anchors. Some anchors are light objects heaven permits to stay because they guard, protect, or remind you of covenant. Others are heavy objects that carry residue of past battles or energy left behind by unwelcome visitors. The challenge is discerning which is which. Think of that one book you've carried through every move. It should have been lost, yet it always finds you again. That is an anchor of light. Think of the photograph you never display but never throw away. It weighs on you, but you cannot explain why. That is an anchor of weight. How do you know the difference? By the A they release. Anchors of light bring peace when your eyes fall upon them. Anchors of weight stir unrest, even if they look innocent. This is not superstition. This is discernment. Heaven embeds messages inside matter. Do not underestimate the power of what you allow to remain in your home. Shadows are opportunistic. If you keep what heaven has already asked you to release, you are holding open a door. One of the hardest lessons chosen ones learn is that not every guest should enter their home. You welcome someone in, and afterwards, the air feels heavy. Sleep becomes fractured. Arguments rise for no reason. That is because people carry atmosphere, and your home, being sensitive, absorbs their essence. For you, hospitality is not just kindness, it is warfare. You must guard the threshold, not with fear, but with intention. If you sense a shift after a visit, cleanse the space, not with expensive tools or rituals, but with prayer, with breath, with spoken alignment. Your home needs decoration to feel sacred. It needs presence, and presence is strengthened by intention. Remember the urgency. Every moment you ignore the signs, darkness gains ground. A neglected home does not remain neutral. It becomes occupied. Broken objects, repeated malfunctions, strange noises, oppressive air, these are not neutral accidents. They are evidence of invasion. But alignment is always within reach. The chosen restore their homes not by spending money on luxury, but by reclaiming spiritual authority. A whispered prayer in the corner, a conscious choice to remove what carries wrong energy, a decision to sit in silence and realign with your mission. These acts shift the battlefield instantly. Do not underestimate them. The enemy does not fear your furniture, it fears your essence. And when you rise, your home rises with you. Here is a deeper mystery. Your current home, with all its imperfections, is already prophesying your future. Look closely. The unfinished corner that it is not just construction, it is heaven whispering. Your mission is still unfolding. The crack in the wall not just damage, but a scar, reminding you of battles survived. The shaft of sunlight that insists on entering through the same window each morning, not just light, but a promise that darkness will never win in this space. Your house preaches without words. It tells you that you are not abandoned, you are not stuck, you are not forgotten. It reminds you that even now, you are becoming chosen ones. The urgency is real. Your home is not waiting for you to recognize it. It is already speaking, already fighting, already echoing. The question is, will you listen? We have entered the battlefield and learned to read its signs. In the next block, Block 3, we will go further into how the chosen home becomes not just a battlefield, but a bridge between dimensions where dreams spill into waking life, where codes appear across digital screens, and where even silence turns sacred. Chosen ones, if your house feels strange at times, there is a reason. You are not only living under a roof, you are living inside a convergence point. The ordinary believe their homes are containers of daily life, but for you, walls and floors are more than shelter. They are gates where two realities overlap. You've felt this already. You wake from a dream of water, only to hear pipes bursting. You see an animal in your sleep, and the very next day it appears outside your window. You dream of fire, and a candle holder falls though no wind stirred it. This is not coincidence. This is dimensional bleeding. Your home has crossed the line from passive space to active bridge. And here is the disruptive truth. Heaven and earth use your home as a meeting ground. That is why silence feels heavier. That is why visitors sense presence even without explanation. That is why you often feel you are in rehearsal for dimensions not yet visible. When a house becomes a bridge, numbers multiply. They are not limited to clocks and receipts. They begin to scatter across surfaces, as if heaven is scribbling constantly to make sure you cannot miss the message. The codes differ from the earlier ones. Here, they expand. For example, 1001, a mirrored gate, signaling that what you pass through now is preparing you for a double destiny. 747, a code of spiritual flight, heaven confirming you are lifted above attacks. 2828, a sequence of covenant, repeated, showing that heaven's promises are not just spoken, but engraved. 919, a seal of endings turning to beginnings, reminding you that what collapses in your house is preparation for what rises. Do not dismiss these sequences when they appear. You may see them in Wi-Fi passwords, in phone calls, in utility totals, even in patterns of tiles or wood grains. The ordinary will laugh at such attention, but the chosen knows. Nothing is random in a house that has become a bridge. If your house is a bridge, expect battle, shadow, silence, and emptiness, but a bridge filled with fire threatens them. That is why arguments may erupt suddenly within chosen homes. That is why appliances break at once. That is why sleep feels stolen, why you hear knocks when no one stands outside, why glass trembles without explanation. Do not interpret this as weakness. Interpret it as proof. Shadows only gather where light already burns. Your home is attacked not because it is weak, but because it glows. Chosen homes are marked by a unique silence. It is not the silence of emptiness, but the silence of weight, the pause between worlds. Ordinary people fill silence with noise, but chosen ones cannot. They feel the necessity of stillness. That is why your home often feels cathedral-like, even in its simplicity. That is why visitors lower their voices without knowing why. That silence is heaven's pause, the stillness that makes space for whisper. Do not despise the quiet corners of your house. They are not empty. They are rehearse. Eternity. Every chosen home has sacred corners. They may not look special. A worn-out chair, the side of a bed, even the bathroom where tears have fallen, unseen. But these corners hold fire, invisible to ordinary eyes. Have you ever sat in the same spot for prayer and felt peace settle over you? Have you ever walked past a chair and felt warmth in your chest, as if someone unseen sat there waiting? Those are not illusions. They are grooves of spirit carved by repetition. Heaven remembers where you prayed. Presence lingers where you whispered in faith. Chosen ones often report visitors sitting in these corners and suddenly crying, confessing, or feeling relief without knowing why. They think it is mood, but it is not. They are brushing against your covenant with heaven. Chosen homes do more than reflect battles. They intervene. You oversleep but wake just in time because the floor creaks unnaturally loud. A door slams seconds before a storm, saving you from harm. A sudden power breaks an appliance but spares you from a greater danger. These are not accidents. Your house has learned to defend. It becomes more than a container. It becomes a participant in your protection. Pay attention to what happens after dreams. Chosen ones often find that dreams are not confined to sleep, they leak. You dream of an owl, and an owl cries outside your window. You dream of numbers, and the same numbers appear on a bill the next morning. You dream of conflict, and the air in your room feels tense when you wake. This is convergence. It means your home has become a stage where spiritual reality bleeds into material existence. And once it begins, you cannot dismiss it as random. To ignore it is to give shadows ground. Here is a painful truth. Before chosen ones step fully into their mission, their homes often shake. Leaks, broken machines, unexpected repairs, sudden moves, even eviction. It feels like torment, but it is training. Heaven is teaching you that your foundation, not walls and rent, but alignment and mission. Do not fear the instability. It is evidence that heaven is shifting your environment to prepare you. Once alignment locks, stability arrives. Not the false stability of money or furniture, but the true stability of covenant. Your home does not just carry your battles, it also carries testimonies. People who step into your house often reveal things they never intended. They feel safe without knowing why, or they feel unsettled and leave quickly. Both are testimonies. Light comforts those aligned with it and unsettles those who hide from it. When someone says, "I don't know why, but I feel safe here," they are unknowingly confirming that your house has become a bridge. When someone says, "I can't explain it, but I feel heavy in this place," they are testifying that your house has too much light for their shadows. Chosen ones, your home is not only fighting battles, it is standing between two dimensions. That is why numbers appear. That silence speaks. That is why dreams spill into waking. That is why shadows resist. This urgency remains. Every moment you dismiss the signs, darkness takes ground. But every moment you pay attention, every time you align, your home strengthens as bridge and altar. In Block 4, the final stage, I will take you into the deepest revelation, how your home announces your destiny before you speak it, how even cracked tiles, unfinished rooms, and beams of sunlight are preaching who you are becoming. And at the end, I will give you a call to step into community, not just subscription, but true belonging. Chosen ones, up until now, we have uncovered that your home is not neutral. It has already shown itself to be a battlefield where wars are fought, a bridge where dimensions overlap, an altar where presence lingers. But there is still one last revelation that changes everything. Your home is also a prophecy in progress. Every wall, every corner, every detail in your house is announcing, are becoming. Even the imperfections, even the cracks, even the unfinished corners are sermons of your future. Look closely. That corner you never finished painting? It whispers that your mission is still unfolding. That window that insists on opening to light? It announces that darkness cannot close your path. That crack in the floor that survived repair? It testifies that scars can turn into strength. Even sunlight that forces itself into the darkest room every morning preaches to you, saying, you are not finished. You are not abandoned. You are still becoming. This is not poetic exaggeration. This is the disruptive truth. Long before people recognize you as chosen, your house has already been shouting it in silence. You may think your house is private, hidden from the world, but energy leaks. Neighbors notice something different. Strangers sense it in seconds. Animals are drawn to it. Birds rest longer on your roof. Cats stare at your windows. Dogs calm when near your presence. Creation itself responds to the dwelling of a chosen one. This is why you are misunderstood. Others walk into your home and see little, simple furniture, unfinished projects, silence. They think nothing of it, or they mock it, but they cannot decode what is actually happening. What looks ordinary to them is saturated with destiny. Do not let their blindness discourage you. They are not meant to see what heaven has hidden for you. Earlier, we spoke of numbers that confirm you are chosen. But as your house evolves from battlefield to prophecy, the numbers change role. They no longer simply confirm, they foretell. For instance, 2028, a sign of coming transition into a new cycle, a year marked by breakthrough. 1441, a reminder of angelic reinforcement standing guard at the edges of your destiny. 535, a code of release, that what once bound you will now propel you. 7272, a covenant sequence, doubling the witness that your home is preparing you for alignment beyond what you imagine. Ones live inside calendars written by heaven, and their homes become covered with these timestamps until the path forward is undeniable. There comes a moment when the house that once sheltered you begins to feel restless. Doors break, leases end, walls seem to echo unease. You may feel pushed out by sudden change, but do not resist. When heaven is ready to move you into the next stage, your home itself will release you. This is why instability often precedes breakthrough. The altar that once kept you will not cling forever. When the house pushes, destiny is calling. Every chosen home becomes a teacher. The books stacked high are not just clutter, they are reminders of hunger for wisdom. The disordered projects are not weakness, they are signs of untapped creation waiting to burst forth. The silence that others fear is not emptiness, it is the training ground for hearing whispers others miss. Your home is constantly training you, shaping you, preparing you, not for itself, but for assignment you carry. Perhaps you have looked around your house and sighed, I wish I had more. I wish this place was different. Why is it so broken? Stop and hear this. Your current home, with all its flaws, is not your final dwelling. It is a prototype, a rehearsal of something greater. The flashes of peace you feel are fragments of eternal reality. The codes written into your walls are previews of a larger mission. The tears you've cried in silence are shaping the testimony of a warrior who will one day rise. Do not despise the cracks. They are not shame, they are prophecy. Now I want to speak from my heart to yours. If this message has stirred you, if you have felt the vibration of your own home testifying back to you, then know this: you are not alone.